The stunt performers, that's kind of our job. We're the actors in the background that don't say anything, but we have to act with our bodies and our faces because we need to help the lead actors. I'm actually quite a shy person. That's not me as a person.
you don't walk around with your sword, just slicing at the air all day? What?
I have always known of their work and I've watched all of their movies, so for me it's the pride of the Asian community.
Hey guys, ever wondered about the face behind the face in some of your favorite shows and movies? As in who's doing the stunts and amazing fights alongside those big name stars? Well, our guest today is one of those faces. That's right, as you guys can see from the thumbnail, we're about to chop it up with Ms Jenny Umbhau.
Jennifer.
She's done acting and stunt work in some amazing shows like Black Sails, Raised by Wolves, one of my favorite shows, as you know, Warrior, and most recently, doubling for Jenna Ortega in Netflix's popular series, Wednesday. Let's get it. Special guest in the building today. You will know her right away when you see her. All my Warrior fans. She's a gymnast, dancer, Cirque du Soleil performer, stunt person, action star. Ms Jenny, and help me with your name, Umbhua, yes?
You know up, you know that, don't you?
Jenny Umbhua?
Umbhau.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. I was like, I got one shot.
Oh, everybody butchers it, so it's okay.
By the butcher.
And you know what? I'm guilty because I have a unique name also. So it's like, I could never get mad at people, but it was like, you got one job today. And I was like, all right.
It's okay. It's all good. It's a surname, so it's all good.
All good. Anyway, so nice to have you here. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to our little chat.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this. Of course, I talked to the man himself, stunt coordinator Brett Chan. We talked about Warrior. We talked about so much stuff. And of course, I brought you up and he's like, oh, Jenny's on my team. I'll reach out to Jenny and that's no problem. I was like, great, awesome. So I was like, here we are. I got to talk to you. So of course, I want to talk to you about your background and everything first. I know a few things. Obviously, I've seen you do other interviews and I've read a couple things about you, but just so people can get kind of acquainted with you on my audience side, you're not a former martial arts star, but you were a former gymnast, right? So how did you get started and get into the industry?
Well, I started gymnastics at the age of 4. I actually got kicked out of a ballet class when I was a little tot because I was way too hyperactive, and the ballet teacher told my parents, please put it in gymnastics, and that's kind of how my gymnastics journey began.
Nice.
And I was a competitive artistic gymnast for 13 years.
Wow.
So throughout my schooling, I was a gymnast. So they basically took me out of school 2 hours early, which I absolutely loved. And I did my training of 5 hours a day. And then I went to a sports school, which kind of dedicated my whole life to gymnastics. And then after high school, it took me about 2 years before I quit because it was kind of the end of my journey, Okay. But that's kind of when Stunts began.
Okay, and then how did you do auditions for stunts, or how did you actually get directly involved in that?
So with the beginning of my stunt career, I went to a tricking workshop, which is like the blend of martial arts and gymnastics.
Yes.
And I still don't know how to trick, but the guys who were teaching, they were stunt guys, and they kind of just clocked me and they said, you've got some skills, there's something we could work with. Are you interested in doing stunts? And I was like, what is stunts? I mean, I'd heard of it, but it's not something that was in my pathway. And they kind of showed me a video of a girl's stunt show reel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that, So I went to a couple workshops, sword workshop and hand-to-hand fighting, and I wasn't great at it, but that just kind of sparked the beginning of my career. And it's kind of just it's been great ever since, let's say that.
Nice. Yeah, so of course I got a little bit of your stunt reel. I hope this is the new one. We were talking off camera before.
Yes, this is the one.
This is the one? Okay, awesome. Yeah. Sweet. So a lot of stuff. You've obviously done a bunch of commercials. You've done a bunch of few shows that people know you. Obviously, people know you for Warrior, but resume, man, it's just super. When you were first starting out, what was one of your first shows though? Was there one before Warrior? Was that your first?
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, let's say. Oh, I lied. I was stunt doubling for Kaya Scodelario. I think that's how you say her surname.
Okay, cool. So you're messing up names too. I don't feel bad.
No.
Just kidding.
No. She it was called Tiger House, a very low budget, like small film that was being shot in South Africa. And I had one stunt to do for her, and they called me because it was like a gymnastic element. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was my very first stunt doubling job. But I started, like the film industry, I started with commercials because it was easier to get into. I got an agent, you know, and at the time there weren't many Asians in South Africa that were part of the film industry. So I kind of just started booking jobs back around, you know, and it kind of helped me also get into the stunts a little bit better, I guess, because you get used to being in front of camera and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned tricking, which is kind of cool because when I first got back to LA, I was doing some tricking classes, and like you're saying, it's that mixture of it's almost like taekwondo mixed with acrobatics. So it's like all the kicks from the taekwondo stuff versus like the acrobatics included. So I'm like you, I didn't really learn how to trick that well, but I thought the blend was so cool and unique.
It is. I mean, tricking is fantastic, and I really wish that it was something I was good at, just because I believe to be a really good stunt performer, it's like martial arts, it's gymnastics, and I would say dancing for the choreography part of it, but gymnastics and martial arts, if you put that together, it's technically tricking. So, you know, you're a lot more fluid. It's less like gymnastics is very like, you know, stuck and very put together, but with tricking, it's a bit more fluid.
Right. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. You mentioned your commercial reel, so I ended up just bringing it up here for perspective. We can check out some of the commercials you did, because I saw this the other night when I was prepping, and I was like, oh, some of these stunts are really cool as well.
Yeah.
So, So when you were starting, obviously you were just kind of going gig to gig, and did you get a formal agent right away? Because you started, you're from South Africa, so you started your career and everything out there?
Yes. So I was born and raised in South Africa. So the time I decided I wanted to get into film, or not film, but to get an agency, it was kind of just straight out of high school. And my dad kind of helped me, and we got some headshots in, and I got an agency with Plan B, who I'm still with today. Nice. And basically they kind of just helped me grow into the film world and into the commercial world. But for me, it's like the more commercials you do, the better you become at it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it's going to grow. Absolutely.
Oh, no, for sure.
I get it. Did you have any particular favorite jobs that you did before you got on a show, or was it just you kind of took everyone in stride? Like, all right, it's another.
They're all absolutely amazing, but I think my favorite commercial of all is the Lexus commercial, which is in my stunt show reel, and it's in the commercial reel, and it's where I was the girl in the helmet. And I got to do all of the cool stunts. Yeah.
This one. Okay, nice.
Yes, that one. So I got to do like it was like 3 days, 6 different stunts of just like cool stuff, you know.
Nice.
all based off of this leather material of Nexus. And it was, for me, it was the best commercial I've done. It was on the top.
Did they superimpose the lion here, or was that real? It had to be like
the lion. So the lion was not with me, but the lion was real. So they did the lion's pass first, and then I was standing in.
Okay, that's what I figured. I'm like,
yeah. But I saw the lion. I was there that day because they had to do the lion first, and then I had to kind of mimic what he was doing. So we had to put each other together. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, nice. All right. So then from there, how do you get the call for coincidentally Warriors shot in South Africa also? So did you kind of just know people that connected you with Brett's people to get on Warrior, or how did that all go down?
So actually, because the film studios has like, I don't know how many sections they have now, but at the time we were shooting Escape Room, and I was the lead double for the lead actress.
Okay.
And I just remember like a whole bunch of Asians walking into one of the studios, and I got super excited because, for me, I don't often see like a lot of Asian people in the film industry. Yeah.
It's a party though. Okay.
So I kind of just like followed them. It was on like a lunch break or something, and I peeked my head into their training room, and oh my gosh, it was just all of them doing like all styles of martial arts, you know, like kung fu. They were doing tricking, they were doing everything, and it just looked amazing. It looked like a boot camp you want to join, you know. And I kind of just like peeked my head through it. I was like, oh, what is this? You know, how do I get involved? So one of the girls had told me like, no, this is Warrior. It's going to be shooting in Cape Town now. It's like a new series, a Bruce Lee inspired series. And I was like, who do I speak to just to say hi? Because these people are just amazing. You know, my jaw was absolutely dropped on the floor. And somebody had introduced me to Brett. And I was like, hi, I'm Jenny. And he's like, there's an Asian stunt performer in South Africa. And I was like, well, I'm kind of the only one. But yes, hi.
Right.
yeah. And I was just like, listen, if I get a chance to, can I please come and train with your guys? Because I really I would love to learn martial arts. And he's like, you don't do martial arts? I was like, no, but I'm a gymnast. He was like, no, we'll do trainings like every afternoon or whatever. Just call me and I'll let you know if you can come in. So I joined a couple of their training sessions in the beginning, which kind of led me to a doubling job because there was a girl that needed a stunt double. And so Brett had called me and said, you know, would you be keen to do it? I was like, of course. That means I can spend more time with you guys. Like, definitely.
Right. Yeah, no, that's sweet. Yeah, you know, it's so funny you mentioned that. And Brett had mentioned that, but also when I interviewed Perry Young, he said, like, you know, there was this setup where they just had training and they would, you know, anyone was welcome off the cast, but mainly obviously stunt people you guys went. And they would just like start in the morning and just like do all these kind of like, you know, moves and like all that stuff. So.
But yeah, so training is just amazing. You know, I got to hand it to Brett, you know, Brett Chen and Johnny Yang, who's his number one assistant.
How cool was that? Like, that's different, right?
Like, Brett's notorious. Every job with Brett that you're on, it's tough because you work your full 10 to 12 hour days. And the first 2 hours are dedicated to training and learning a new skill. So if somebody's proficient in like knife or sword or taekwondo or like art or whatever, they'll take a class for like an hour after your training or whatever, and you'll learn a new skill. So every show that I've been on with Brent, it's like that, you know, you learn something new and then you get on with your job throughout the day. So it's really tough, but it's so much fun and you learn so much with him.
Right. Yeah. Because, you totally see the way they just immerse themselves. It's like him and Johnny, right? They just really made sure that all those episodes, because I told him, like, for me, yes, it's the fighting choreography is amazing on the show, but also the writing so good. You know, like every character is really fleshed out so well. And yes, you do play Lai, who is mute on the show. So you do a lot of acting with your body and face more than anything else. And, you know, so how's that? And did you actually have any formal acting training, or you just came in kind of cold?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in kind of cold, but like I said, with the commercial, I already then been doing commercials for like 6 years or 5-6 years. So I wasn't unfamiliar in front of a camera, and I had also had like tiny local stuff that I had done here. But I've said this on every interview, and I'll say it again, but stunt performers, that's kind of our job. We're the actors in the background that don't say anything, but we have to act with our bodies and our faces because we need to help the lead actors. You know, we need to be the background that's kind of still moving but also not saying anything. So stunts in general is kind of what Lai was, which is totally acting without a voice.
Right. No, that's a great point. Because it's like, so when you presented the Lai character on paper, was she already fleshed out? Like, she's kind of like a teenager, and she comes into a toys brothel and all that as like this young kind of naive little girl, or how was it presented to you? I'm just curious.
So they weren't 100% sure about what they wanted with this character initially. I just remember them saying that they were looking for a young girl. You know, and potentially she would be mute. Like, I think that was already kind of part of the plan, but they needed to see me act. So in order to like audition for the role, they gave me dialogue from Diane's, so My Ling. They gave me like a whole piece. Yeah, I had to. My acting audition was a My Ling piece.
I'm about to say that My Ling has a lot of dialogue. So
I had a feeling that you might feel this way.
The bitches do talking.
Which is why I already killed you.
So that must have been like challenging.
It was a long one. I was like, damn, okay. Let's go. Which
You're like,
honestly, I really enjoyed doing.
you're like, make it easy on me, guys. Love this, right? Like a whole script.
No, it was good.
Okay, that's cool.
I do enjoy a good challenge, and it was fun, and it kind of challenged me for that moment, and I enjoyed it. But when they eventually, like, when I got the call from Jonathan Tropper, and he was like, we really want to go with you, I mean, you know, and they were like, but you're mute. I was like, yes.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. So, oh, that's true, because I didn't even think about it. You really don't have any lines to prepare for, so you're just.
Yeah.
But what? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, but
I
when
think-
when you're preparing, you still have to know everyone else's lines, so you know where to come in to do what you got to do, right? So that's the only challenge.
Yeah. So for me, it's just, I think the harder part is that obviously I don't have a stunt double. I don't have a stand-in. Like, I am everything. So when I get to set, like, it's always on me, and you know, I have to constantly be aware of what the actors are doing prior to whatever I need to do, and also not forget my stuff that I have to be doing. So yes, it's a totally different thing, but it was challenging, but it was just so much fun. And I think because the casts are so amazing, it doesn't feel like work. You know, you're just kind of you're just having a day with your friends. That's how I felt.
Oh, I can totally see that. I mean, I know you guys are a tight knit cast. Perry Young, that I've talked to him twice, and he's always told me that. I was like, the cast were so tight. It's like we'd even go, even days we're not shooting, we go to see the other guys shoot, and you know, like we totally be involved, and you know, so he can't stop talking about all the amazing things that happened out there on set. Did you start out as an actual Bruce Lee fan when you first knew about the show, or was it just like, hey, the show is?
No, I've always known about Bruce Lee, because I mean, again, coming, like, you know, being born and raised in South Africa as an Asian or a half or a hapa, it's you still have your idols, you know. So Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all of the icons, like they are the people that I've looked up to, especially because I came from an athletic background. Yeah. Obviously, not coming from martial arts, it wasn't my number one thing that I was a huge diehard fan, but I have always known of their work, and I've watched all of their movies, you know. So for me, it's the pride of the Asian community. I think that's what it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
So coming up, were there people that you kind of felt were like your mentors in the stunt world, or people that you looked up to, or was it just, you know?
There's been so I would categorize my career and each like 2-3 years as blocks, and each of those, like from when I started, there were people that I've looked up to. All of the older performers here in Cape Town, I mean, they're the ones that, you know, when I started, that's what I wanted to be. And then we started working together, and then it changes to the next part of your life, where now you're looking at people from outside of South Africa. And for example, that was Brett and his team. That was the next, you know, ambition for me, and the next step that I wanted to get to. So I think with each part of my career and each part of my life, there's always somebody else to look forward, like to look up to. And I being part of Brett's team is a big part of, you know, my goals being achieved.
No, absolutely. I can get it. So probably safe to say, out of the cast members, you're probably like very close with Olivia, who plays Atoy, right? I would say, 'cause the chemistry you guys have on screen is awesome. So I got to bring up at least one of you.
Oh, this was a cool fight. Yeah.
I love this fight.
Cool fight.
I think this is like season 2, right? I believe.
This was season 2. Yes.
Yeah.
This was a hardcore fight, man.
Yeah, this was brutal because Lai really she goes like super violent and loses it, right? And this one, Olivia's got to calm her off.
That was the moment, I think, even I shocked myself watching it. I was like, wow. Because when I was doing it, it didn't feel like 3, 2, 1 action, you know? It's like as soon as we were shooting this, that was just everything that I felt for the character, and you know, for all the stuff that she's been through and all that she's seen and trying to save these girls and stuff, like that pure rage was just, it was totally the character that came out. I mean, because I'm actually quite a shy person that's not me as a person.
You don't walk around with your sword just slicing at the air all day? What?
But not only that, the rage. I'm a very peaceable person. I'm like, I don't fight with people. I'm only I only speak if I'm spoken to. So that moment that happened there, that was very much Lai. That was not Jenny.
Right. No, I get it. You're totally in character. But it's a testament also to, because this is the part where she kind of goes a little overboard, and then a toy is like, hey, just do it, Lai, stop, just kill him already. You're torturing the guy.
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, she just lays into him. She's like,
Lai. Just finish him.
Right. She's like, do it already. So, you're really good. So, but speaking of weapons, and that's part of Warrior, you came in with no formal martial arts training, but you had to learn everything on scene, even or on set, even the swordplay and stuff, or how did that go down?
So that's how amazing Brett and his team are. Because I came onto Warrior not having any formal martial arts training. I had done a little bit for myself, but South Africa's not the place to be learning martial arts. We don't have very good schools here. Wow. And so Brett had his team work on me every single day for 6 hours a day. I was in the gym just training sword, and I have a video actually of me right at the beginning, and it hurts my heart to watch it, but at the same time it makes me so proud, because I'm I came from that to where I am now, where actually sword is one of my strong suits. So.
Oh, okay.
I see someone has tortured the sword.
Yeah, it's become the weapon of choice now when I fight. So he has a team, and he has Ouw. Ouw is one of the sword specialists, who's actually Olivia's stunt double.
Okay.
And she was the one that just kind of drilled me every single day, and that's how I learned most of my martial arts, was through Brett and his team.
Okay, because I was going to ask you, what was probably the hardest element of learning the martial arts? Was it the weapons, or was it more the hand fighting combination? What do you think?
I think it was weapon, just because I wasn't used to the style. Because when I learned sword, right at the beginning, when we did sword workshops in Cape Town, it was very much piratey. So it was and 1 and 2 and a big slice here and a big slice there, So it was very blocky. Whereas with Brett, if you watch him, it's very movement and the body and all of that. He moves with such fluidity and such beauty that it's that's the kind of style that he wanted us to learn. And so to go from 1, 2 to very moving, that was hard.
Right, the fluidity, right? Because that's really the basis in Kung Fu. Because I just to give you background on me, I trained in Kung Fu first, was one of my first martial arts style. Well, karate a little bit, but then Kung Fu is one I've trained in for 20 plus years, and I got a mixture of Krav Maga and all this other stuff. So Brett and I were talking about all that we had in common. But yeah, the Kung Fu is really about just the beauty, the arts, as well as the martial side. So you're showing that, so everything is very crisp, and the way your body moves with the weapon, and the weapon's basically just an extension of you. So
Oh, for sure. Oh, it was totally foreign to my body before I met Brett.
Now, because you were also you were a dancer too, a little bit, right? Am I right? Did some dancing too? Did that help?
Yes.
Was that with the gymnastic movements? Did that also help when you were learning the martial arts for set? Did you think?
The gymnastics, I would say, helps with all the acrobatic-y stuff that I have to do, and just more the discipline of learning things. But the dancing is what helps with the fluidity and the choreography of stuff. Okay. So I always say, to take the gymnastic side out of me was actually very difficult at the beginning, because it's so stoic and so strong and very straight. And when you're moving like you want to move with Brett, you have to be more dancer style. So that kind of helped with each other. And I think then also taking all of that out of completely, and then taking Brett's kind of world in, that's where my movement now has moved to,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I was asking Brett this too, like how he kind of came up with styles for the different characters, and he was kind of saying it's based on the size and everything like that. So with Lai, when he came in with you, was he kind of like, all right, based on your size and fit and stuff, this is kind of what I'm going to do with her, or how was that kind of building up the Lai's fighting style?
I think it's weird because in the beginning when he was coming up with like, just remember when she found the sword in Atoy's room and she was kind of just playing around with it?
Yes.
We didn't have a conversation of what he wanted me to do, or he didn't come to me and say like, this is the style. He was just moving himself, you know, and he was like, you try it now. And I was like moving and he's like, no, that looks shit. You know, let's try that again. So I think movement-wise, I would have to say Tong Yao is the one that helped me with the movement, because she's always said like there's a feminine way of moving and there's a masculine way of moving, and so she can do both, but she wanted me to really learn the feminine way of moving. So whatever Brett would teach us, she would then break down for me and help me move more like a girl. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because it's beautiful, and the way Lai fights, she's like, you know, she's got that rage and that kind of pent up anger, and she like brings it out. I think on your reel you have that sword part. Let me see if I got the right one here. Let's see.
I think that was season 1. I can't remember what.
Yeah, no, I remember that when you find it in the box. Let's say. So you did have a little bit of weapon, like knife training, right? A little bit.
Knife training, yes. So knife training, hand to hand. What else? Like basic training. We got a lot of basic training, which I'm very grateful for, because without that, like you don't have a base, you know. So
right.
Yeah.
I got you. I think this was season 3, but still like such a big fight. And at this point, you don't have your swords, but Lai's still up here, and she's obviously coming to Atoy's aid. And I believe that's your boyfriend, right? Your partner,
that
right?
Is.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that. So I was gonna ask you about that. How you guys actually got to this point where you're like, okay, I'm like killing my boyfriend on screen.
Oh, that's all thanks to Brett. That was because we met on Wednesday, season 1. Nice. And Brett was the coordinator on that show, and he had brought all his team together from all over the world, and that's where I had met my boyfriend Max. And so we spent the 8 months together, and you know, right at the end, Brett was like, "Oh well, season 3 of Warriors coming, and like maybe we can use him for something." But he, you know, I thought he was joking. I was like, "Oh, but it's like Asians and then Irish. He doesn't look very Irish either." But you know, Brett is so damn amazing with this, and he really tries to keep people together, especially people that he really likes. And so he found a way to bring Max on throughout season 3. And the one gift that Brett gave me was, he's like, "I'm gonna let you kill Max." You know, it's gonna be the most gruesome kill, but I'm gonna let you have that one. And I was just like, that is amazing. There we go.
There we go. Okay, I found it. Okay, so this is you. A clip of it, because it's your stunt reel. But that's the part where you first initially. Yeah, there you go. There's the sword play. Because she finds the sword in the box, and I remember that from season 1. And then Atoy kind of walks into you. It walks in, and she's like, "Okay, let me see." And then you start doing your stuff. Yeah.
I would have to say like that right at the beginning. I think season 1 was me learning to understand the movement of the sword and how Brett had envisioned what he wants, and you know how Yao had taught me. But I would say from season 2 onwards, I took everything that they taught me and I kind of turned it into something that I wanted to. So obviously with the very strict eyes of Brett on it, like I also kind of turned it into what I wanted the style to be a little bit as well. And so I would say it was a lot, like although Yao and Brett were always watching and making sure that it was looking like they want, I was kind of able to put a little touch of Jenny on there, which was nice.
Yeah, no, and I can see you kind of add your own flair to it, right? You get your own flair into it, which is great, and then you start evolving from there. Did the writers kind of give you a little bit of background even before you started with Lai, like how she kind of had some skill previous, or was it just kind of you kind of had to make it up? Okay.
No, they just dropped me with, she's this old, you know, she got, well, obviously went on the boat and she got sold into slavery and all that, not slavery, but not a prostitution, but I guess somewhere along those lines. Yeah. And so I created the story in my head of what happened, and it just kind of, it helped. It helped a little bit, but they didn't give me very much background on life.
Background on that. Okay, I got you. I was just curious because it's like I've heard some actors will say, hey, I kind of create in my head what the character would go through, so I have motivation to perform on screen. So you brought it up, and where you met your partner on the set of Wednesday. So I had to talk to you a little bit about that. What was that experience like? Because I know that's a whole different production. But at the same time, still doing cool stunt work for Jenna Ortega there and on the series. What was that whole experience like?
Oh man, season 1 was an absolute dream. Like it really, we had the best team, we had the best coordinator. We were just, it was the time where everything just clicked, all the actors were coming into training every single day. We had such good camaraderie. We had such good, we all meshed well together, and it was really one of my favorite shows to work on too. Very different from Warrior. I mean, obviously it's not a very stunt heavy show, but just being with this team, it was phenomenal. It was such a good experience, and I always have Wednesday season 1 to be definitely one of the top shows that I worked on.
Very nice. Now, obviously, Tim Burton, one of the main producers. Do you get to work with him at all, or what was that like meeting him? And that guy's iconic.
Yeah, we got to meet him. He's absolutely lovely. Such a sweet guy. He is insane. The thoughts that go through his mind is unreal. He's such a quirky dude, but he really is such a genius. He's such a genius, yeah. And he came into the stunt room a couple times to just watch what we were doing, or seeing the fight and making sure that he liked it. He gave us a stamp of approval for it. We got to meet him. I got to hold his dog. His dog Levi.
Oh, sweet.
I'm very happy about it.
What kind of dog does he have? I didn't even know he had a dog. That makes sense.
He's a Jack Russell.
Okay, so small dog.
Yeah, he's a little small dog. But it's a she. Sorry, Levi is a girl. My bad. But it's just so much fun. And Romania was great. It was just such a good experience. And obviously, I had met my boyfriend there, so it was even better.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you met him on that set. And then did you just finish filming season 2? Didn't I read that?
We did.
Okay.
Yes, I just got back from Ireland a week ago, actually.
Oh wow!
And it was shot in Dublin, Ireland, and it was a different experience. I mean, obviously Brett wasn't the coordinator, and the team was completely different. They had just asked me to come back to be Jenna's double again. It was a good experience. Very, like I said, very different. But it was a nice long 7 months. So in the cold Ireland.
Okay, there you go. Part 1 of our conversation with Ms Jenny Umbhau. Guys, be here for the second half because we're about to chop it up about.
You don't get a one-on-one fight. Sometimes it's like 1 versus 5, or but one-on-one fight where it's just you and this guy. And it's the do or die type thing, and it was such a beautifully choreographed piece.
Plus, Jenny may have some tips for you aspiring stunt performers. So do check back for more. Follow us on all the socials. I'll leave them here, and everywhere. And don't forget, the membership is now on and popping on the channel. So if you'd like to support us more, and of course we appreciate it, go ahead and become a member. You'll have access to a lot of exclusive new content that I'm not releasing on the main channel.
Nothing I'd rather do.
We're gonna keep loading up that section so that you guys have even more martial arts goodness to check out. And while you're at it, guys, check out a couple other vids that you're gonna like about stunts and martial arts over here. And yes, stay safe. See you all in the next round, next episode. And as always, keep punching.
Look at that one. Look at this one. Look at that one. Look, are you kidding me?
Hi, this is Jenny Umbhau. Thank you for watching Kung Fu Chronicles.